Good morning, River Landing. Here we are from Mat Yoga. So glad that you could join me. Just a reminder that this class we do get down on the floor. So if you live alone or if your significant other isn't home and you're not sure if you can get back off the floor, please don't do this class. We'll do a chair yoga class at 11 that'll involve a lot of the same stretches a lot of times, but just not getting up and down off the floor. So for those of you that are going to stay with me, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me for Mat Yoga. All right, so let's go ahead and start with a nice standing Tadasana. I like to keep my feet a little bit separated, but you could go toes and heels together if you feel that that's something you like for you. And we're going to start today with our hands on the back of our hips, opening up that shoulder. And then think about your posture. Take a look, toes are forward, knees should be in line with each other. Align with your hips, and then I want you to bring your hips, shoulders, and ears in line. So that might mean we need to tuck our chin just a little bit. It might mean we need to stack our shoulders a little bit more over those hips. And then we're just going to have those hands on the hips and open right here. If you're comfortable, let's go ahead and close our eyes and breathe. Tummies are in nice and tight. Holding and breathing. Relaxing, softening through the shoulder. Nice big belly breathing. When we open up our arms like this, we actually are allowing more oxygen to get into the lungs. Good. So if you get dizzy, one of the best things you can do is hands on your hips, open those elbows wide and breathe. Good. All right. And one more breath here. So I want you to take your hands now and slide them down and pushing them down towards the back of your thighs, still squeezing those shoulder blades together, almost in an exaggerated pose right here. Holding. This time let's take an ear over to the side. Good. Push the opposite shoulder down ever so slightly, maybe even sliding that hand slightly down. And bring that up. Let's go to the other side. Slide it down. Good. Breathing. Nice big deep breaths. Get that belly breathing in. And bring the head all the way up. Now I want you to tuck your chin. Slide your hands down just a little bit further. And then inhale, let's lift and put those hands right back on those hips. Good, open up those shoulders. Now, let's move those legs a little bit. I needed a little movement there. Good, kick those feet out. Good, now let's bring those feet wide, but the hands are still in that same position. If you need your chair, please go ahead and use your chair if you feel a little unstable today or a little bit tippy, because we're gonna come forward. I want you to be soft with your knees. And our hands are pinned back, so if you need to let one hand go to reach the chair, that's fine. I want you to come forward right here. Just come forward, keeping those arms still back, lifting through the chest, working those shoulders, softness in your knees, stick that bottom back. Good, feel that stretch in those hips. Maybe a little shake of that hip feels good today. Good, and then let's inhale and come all the way up. Now let's change the position of those hands, just taking those hands to the hip and see the difference. We're gonna come forward again. Now see how that changed that stretch a little bit, didn't it? Made that stretch just a little differently. We're still keeping the ears and the shoulders in line. We're looking at the floor. Don't look at me, I'm still here. Good, so today we're gonna work on some forward fold type movements. Good, and then let's come all the way up. Now, let's rock it just a little bit to this side, working those inner thighs, stretching through that hip. Good, we could take a shoulder and roll it with a look. Good, working through that spine. Good, all right, now let's hold it right here in the middle. Let's turn one foot. Good, and we're going into that warrior two position. So bend that front knee just that little bit. Good, inhale, lift those arms. Good, shoulders are down and relaxed. Holding here, bending that knee maybe a little bit further, maybe taking a little bit more of a step, making sure that your heel is in line with either your instep or the back of your foot. Standing tall. Good, let's hinge right here. So we're gonna come over to the side, hand goes to the hip, or if you have a block, it could go to a block as we reach up, stretching up towards the ceiling, not overhead here yet, just up towards the ceiling, holding, stretching, pushing that back foot into the floor. Now reach it over. Big stretch. Keep pushing that back foot into the floor. Feel that stretch through the spine, waking up those muscles. Good. Inhale, let's come all the way up and bring it back for that reverse triangle. But I want you to keep the front knee bent here. Good. So that's more of a reverse warrior, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. All right, now let's come up for that triangle, straightening that front leg, hand to the hip, or hand to the leg, hand to the block. Or, yeah, as long as you're on something, I'm on my calf. Reaching it up nice and tall, keeping that front leg a little straighter this time. No, try not to bend. Reaching over if it feels okay. Pushing that back foot into the floor. Good. Inhale, let's come up. Now reverse triangle, keeping those legs straight. Big stretch. Good. Bring it all the way back to the top. Warrior two arms. Good. Bend that front knee. Let's pause right here, just holding, strengthening, pushing backward with those thighs. Squeezing the buttocks just that little bit. Bending that front knee, building strength there. Good. And breathe. And bring those arms all the way down. Let's bring those feet forward and then in, marching it out. Give those feet a kick. If you know me, I need those kind of movements for my hips. Okay, so here we go. Back into that wide stance. The other foot's going to turn. And however you need to do that, you know how it is by now. On the TV screen so you can see me. Inhale, lift, bend that front knee, push that hip out. Good, nice tall posture. Holding. Relax your shoulders. Good, so we're gonna come forward, keeping that knee bent. We're gonna come forward either to the thigh or maybe to a block or the shin. And I want you to reach up first, pushing that back foot, push it back. And then up and over, feeling the stretch, elongating, pushing that back foot, push it into the floor. Breathe. Good, inhale, let's come up, keep that front leg bent. Reverse warrior. Keeping that front leg bent, I want you to really elongate through this part of your spine, feeling that stretch. All right, now let's inhale, come up, straighten that front leg. We're going for that triangle this time, so the leg stays straight in the front. Reaching up this time for a little longer, holding, pushing that back foot into the floor, and then reaching over if it feels good. Good, and then let's inhale and come up. Let's rock it back. Rock it back. Good. Keep that front leg straight if you can. Mine wants to naturally bend. Now let's bring it back to that warrior two. Nice tall position here. Opening through those thighs. Good, and then let's bring it all the way up. Toes come forward. Remember where we were earlier. Let's go back there. So let's hinge at the hip. We're going to push those hips back. Hands on the hips or hands on the back, you decide. So a little bit of a forward fold there, keeping ourselves parallel with the floor. Good, looking at the floor, don't look at me, I'm still here. Feeling that stretch in that hip. Good, push through those feet, come all the way up and bring it in. All right, so before we go much further today, I do have my towel out, so it's always nice to have that for little things, but I don't have an intent purpose for it today other than just to be supportive. But I do want you to grab your strap. So if you haven't grabbed your strap, if you want to take a second and grab your strap, that would be great. And so a lot of times, we talk about the chair, and in mat yoga, we tend not to use the chair, but because we have it, let's go ahead and use it today if we need it. So we're going to work on forward folds, and I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see where I'm going. But if you need that chair for the forward fold portion of what we're going to do, please use it. And maybe I'll do more of an angle. There we go. So that I don't have to turn my head quite so far. There you go. There goes my strap. Okay. So by now you've gotten your tools and your straps. So let's go ahead and start. And I'll just go ahead and face forward. So inhale, lift. You can be facing your chair, and we're going to just come down to a chair pose. So chair pose, bring those hands here. If you needed that chair, you could be close to the chair. We could be holding the chair. Good. And then inhale and come up. So this time I'm going to use my chair. So inhale, lift. Exhale, and come down. You're thinking, well, how is she using her chair for bottom's going out towards the chair, right? So we're going to hold here in chair pose. Nice tall posture, a little bend forward if it's hurting your hip. Good. And then we're going to forward fold. So we're going to forward fold either to the chair or to a block. Maybe we have a block. Maybe we have a pillow or a towel, right? So that we have a little elevation. Or maybe we can forward fold all the way to the floor. But that chair is there if you need it, if you need that as a prop. So you could be here. See how that is? So I still am in a forward fold, but I'm very supported. So you choose where you want to go there. All right. Good. Now we started this in a chair pose, so I want you to bend your knees, come up, back into that chair pose right here, building strength in those legs. Beautiful. Hold it here. Good. Chest is forward a little bit, shoulders are down. Let's inhale and lift. Good. All right, inhale, lift. Exhale, let's swan dive down. Ooh. And this time we're going to come right to that forward fold, soft knees. So maybe we're touching the floor, maybe we're at the chair, maybe we're at the blanket or the towel, wherever you need that stretch to be for you. So wherever you are, you're supported somewhere. You're touching something and not just hanging willy-nilly. Okay, so it could be at the chair. So lift your hips, try to straighten those knees a little bit without locking. Lift them up high. Good. Now I want you to think about lifting your right hip and lowering it. Lifting your left hip and lowering it. We could do this here. Lift the left, or lift the right, lift the left. So you do that however you want. Now if you find that you get dizzy, we have that chair close by, so make sure you sit and breathe, open that chest. All right, one more. Good. Now I want you to bend your knees, and we're going to put our hands on our thighs and just come up halfway. So our head is still right in line with our heart. I want you to take a breath here. I'm not pushing on my knees, I'm pushing on those thighs, so don't push on your knees. Big breath. And then come all the way up. Good. All right. All right, one more forward fold. So we're going to do one more forward fold with a variation. So inhale, lift. Good. Exhale, come down to whatever prop you need, wherever you need to be for you. Good. And notice I'm coming to my knuckles. I could come down a little bit further, but I want to be able to look up a little bit, so I'm not going to come all the way down. But lift those hips. Now I want you to rock side to side just a little bit. Good. Now plant your feet in the middle, rock front to back. Rock it front to back. What are you doing with your hips? Your hips should be pushing up towards the ceiling. Feeling that stretch in the hip. Big deep breaths. Good. Now bring your weight even in the middle. Lift those hips ever so slightly. Let's hold it with a breath. Now bend your knees. Let's inhale, come up. Pausing right here in the middle, taking a breath. And then let's come all the way up. Good, how do you feel? Do you feel like those hips got a little looser? Yeah, me too. Okay, so I'm gonna still use my chair here, and I'm gonna change my forward fold just a little bit. So I want you to bring one foot forward, you pick which foot that will be. Good, and a little step back, it's not a large step back, so would it be like a warrior one step here, right? It would be a little bit further forward. Standing up nice and tall with a breath, inhale, lift. Good, nice tall posture, reach it up, breathe. Good, now keeping those legs nice and straight, I want you to exhale coming to that chair. Good, like it's almost gonna be a push-up here on the chair, so we're gonna come down. But let's actually do a push-up and come up. Good, so come down, push those hips back. Slowly come up. Let's hold this one a little longer. So we come down, hold, push those hips back. Feeling that stretch, elongate through that hip, push through the hip. Breathe, elbows are out, that's okay in this position. And one more breath here. Good, now let's inhale. We're gonna come up and see we're using our chair today. Let's go ahead and really use it. We're gonna step ourselves back and we're gonna do an up dog on the chair. Now we could stop here. We could really modify and be complete flat feet on the floor, or we could come all the way here and we could push those hips forward with an up dog. So you choose what you wanna do for you. You know what you feel better doing. Good, all right. Now, let's bring it forward. So walk it forward. Feet are on the floor, put your weight into your heels. Inhale, lift. And bring it down, let's roll those shoulders. Roll those shoulders back. Good. Now the other foot is gonna go forward. So the other foot goes forward, step it back. Good. All right, nice straight spine. Now remember, it's not a full step back like a warrior pose. We're actually slightly forward of that. Inhale, lift. Exhale, swan dive down. Let's push that hip back. Push that hip back right here. Oh, then that feels good. Elbows are out. Let's do that little push-up. It's nice and slow. And inhale. Good. Exhale. Push through. Inhale. One more time. We're holding this one down there. Hold it here. Push that hip back. Oh, feel that good stretch in that hip. Nice big deep breath. Good, now let's come all the way up. Let's take a step back. Good, coming back into that up dog again on the chair. So if you wanted to, you could come back and push the hips forward, or you could have those feet directly under you, and we're just holding here. You're building strength in those arms, so that's a good thing. Good, push that hip forward if you're here with me. A little up dog. Building strength in those arms. Good, now let's push it back into a down dog with that chair. Good, and let's take this and just rock it a little bit. So you can do this however you feel comfortable, feet solidly on the floor, or you're at that diagonal and it's just a little rock. Hips forward, hips back, really working on those hips. Good. And then hold in the position that you think is going to feel better for your body today. So maybe you're holding back here. Maybe you're holding in that up dog. Wherever you are, you're really focusing on that hip, stretching through the hip. And breathe. Let's walk it forward. Putting your weight slightly back in your heels. Let's inhale and come all the way up. Good. How do you feel? I hope you feel good. Before we get to the floor, let's work on just some basic balance. So we'll just do basic tree today. So if you need the chair, bring it close by. So basic tree, we're going to just start with a kickstand pose. We're going to take that toe, put it out to the side, heel stays on the floor, and here's our basic tree. For those of you that want to make it a little bit more of a challenge, we could put that foot either on the calf, or if you're a super yogi and you've done this for years, you could put that foot with your heel on your thigh. I'm going to stop right here. Balancing, that little shifting, that little grabbing that your body is doing is very normal and very good. And we're breathing. Good. Opening up that leg just a little bit more to the side, relaxing through the back side if you can. Good. Maybe today your tree is really well balanced, maybe not. Let's lift those arms up. Do the best that you can. Whoop. And then bring those hands back down. And let's come out of that pose, march it out. It's a long time, wasn't it, on one foot? All right, so let's do the other side. So we come over, we go to basic tree with the kickstand part, or we can lift that foot up just a little bit. Hands come to prayer. Ooh, I'm gonna have a little hard time on this side, I think, today. Yeah. Good. I'll try not to. You know what you do? Squeeze your feet into the mat, squeeze your buttock. That's going to help until you can relax into the pose. Good. Now inhale, lift it open. Beautiful trees. Beautiful. Breathing, holding, breathing. Good, bring it down, and then come out of that pose. Good, kick those feet out. Very good. All right, let's do one more balance pose, and if you need your chair, that's perfectly fine. Let's do one foot in front of the other just a little bit, and we're gonna inhale, lift, and bring it down. Very simple. Inhale, lift, we shift our center of balance, right? We have one foot forward, one back, and we're using those strong calf muscles, the stability muscles, to just rock back and forth. There we go. Good. Now, a lot of people think that little stumble is, oh, I have terrible balance. That's really not the case. The fact that my body said, hey, I got you, and it didn't let me fall and crumble to the floor, means that I have pretty good balance. It means that my body knows where to go. And that's why we practice these things. So let's go back up. Let's hold it right here. Maybe we can hold it up. If you need to hold the chair, hold the chair. Good, bring it down. Let's march it out. You ready to do the other side? Other foot goes forward just that little bit. Rocking back and forth. Good. And for some of us, this type of thing is hard. Maybe we have neuromas in our feet, or we have plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendonitis, and it makes it hard, right, to do this kind of thing. So just modify how you need to do it for you. Good. All right, let's hold this one here. Hold it, squeeze through the buttocks, squeeze your toes in the mat. That's going to help you. And bring it all the way down. All right, so let's go ahead and get ready to come to the floor. And I'm going to change my mat position again, just so that you can see me better. Before we come to the floor, make sure that you have your towel and your strap. So have your towel and your strap. Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to use the chair to come down. You don't have to if you don't want to. So inhale, lift. Exhale. Swan dive down, the bottom sticks back, the knees bend. I'm going to put my hands on the chair, bringing one knee down, and then the other. Good. And then I'm not going to use my chair for a little bit, so I'm going to stick it back. And maybe I need my blanket today. Maybe my knees are a little sore. So I'm going to take that towel, and I'm going to wrap it up and fold it however I want to, however thick I think is going to feel good. And I'm going to put my knees so that they hang over the top of that mat. Can you see how my knee is hanging over the top of that mat, or of the blanket or towel? And so that's going to help protect my knees just a little bit today. So the kneecap is hanging over the top. There we go. Okay. So from this position, while we're here, we might as well get in a little cat and cow. So good for your back. So the arms are right below your shoulders, fingers are out wide, and we curl for cat. And then we exhale and sway for cow. Good. And then at your own breath, just go ahead and do this movement, however it feels good for you. We'll do 4 or 5. Just working that spine. And just like before, hold in the position that you think is going to feel the best. Maybe it's that cat pose, really pushing through the hands. Or maybe it's swaying that back and just holding it there. Good. Now bring that spine neutral, bringing your toes together. Knees coming a little wide. Let's push back into a child's pose. If you had a block, you can put your head on the block, or if you can, we can put our head on the floor. Relaxing, stretching through those hips. Breathing. Good, let's come forward and have a seat. Good. All right. So before we get down on the floor using our strap, let's sit up nice and tall. We're going to put our feet forward, and I want you to take your hands and push them right next to your sides. Fingers are forward. We're just going to elongate through the spine. So sit up nice and tall, flex your toes. Good, and we're just going to hold this, elongating through the spine, making space in our discs. I'm not lifting myself off the floor. My buttocks are still on the floor, so keep your buttocks on the floor. Good, lifting, holding. Good, keeping that space in the spine. I want you to come forward, reaching for those toes. Good, tuck your chin. If you can't touch your toes, you're touching something, keeping that spine nice and strong and long. Good. And then let's come up. Let's take one foot over the top of the other leg. If you want to be a tucker, you could tuck here. That's a little more advanced, and it's a little harder on the knee. So I'm not going to go there. I'm going to keep that foot here. I'm going to flex it nice and tall. Sitting up tall, we're going to grab that leg and turn towards the leg and look behind. If you want a deeper stretch and you know that your doctor has never told you don't hold the stretch real tight, we're going to go here. So we don't want to leverage too hard, right? If we know that we have a bad back, we don't leverage. And then let's turn it to the front. Let's do the other side. Good. Foot goes to the floor. We sit up nice and tall. If you want to tuck that foot in, you can tuck it in a little harder on the knees, but it's good if you don't have any problems with your knees. Go right ahead. Sit up nice and tall. We're going to hug that leg in. We're going to turn and twist. For those of us that want to go deeper, we can add that arm and a pull and a tug and a leverage. But if you are not supposed to ever do leverage twists, please don't do this. Good, let's twist it back to the center. And let's get ready to come to the floor. So let's make sure we have our strap. And I'm going to turn around here, coming down to the floor. You know what, I think I'm going to come this way because I can see you better that way. There we go. Oh, doesn't that feel good? Okay, so let's bring those arms out in a T position. Just bring those legs up, kind of hug them in, and let's rock it just a little bit side to side. Kind of stretching through that spine before we get into the deeper leg stretch and the deeper hip stretch. Good, so just a little massage there of the lower back. Good. All right, let's go ahead and lift those feet. We'll do one good twist here before we get to those leg stretches. So let's go ahead and let those legs fall to the side. Good, holding, stretching. moving any tools. I realized my blanket was in the way. And a towel. And let's bring it up. Let's go to the other side. Rock and twist. And then let's bring them all the way up. Let's grab that strap. We're going to lasso one foot. The other foot can be on the floor for now, and I'll direct you, and you can decide where you go with it. So we're going to take that foot. I want you to elongate that foot, pushing your heel towards the ceiling, keeping that leg as straight as you can without locking it. So don't lock that elongated leg. Now the other leg, what are we going to do with that guy? So you can choose to keep your foot on the floor. If you have a bad back, and it doesn't feel so good today, then you keep that foot on the floor. If it feels okay, you can go ahead and you can elongate that leg. So now that's a deeper stretch. You feel it more in that thigh position there, more at the hip. So we're going to pull that forward. I want you to think about, let's reach up tall, and then we push our shoulders into the mat. That's called imprinting in Pilates. We imprint those shoulders. I think, yeah, so push that in. So pretty soon, one day, we're going to do a Pilates class instead of a yoga. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and we'll do that one day. Good. All right, so let's pull that leg just a little bit further forward, feeling that deep stretch in the hip, and breathing. Push that heel up just a little bit. Breathe. Oh, I'm shaking a little bit. Are you shaking a little bit? That means you're working hard. Good. Now let's release it just a little bit. Bend your knee. Pull that knee in towards the body just a little bit. Good. Now let's extend it up again and feel that stretch. Push that heel up. Now let's take that foot, bring it right back over the hip, taking the arm that's free. So if I'm holding my strap with the same leg that's in the air, for me it's my left. We're going to take the other arm, for me it's my right, and we're going to put it out in the AT position. Now we're going to take the leg that we're holding and we're going to open it to the side, bringing our elbow to the floor. Now if you find that you can't really get there, maybe take your blanket and put it underneath your elbows so that you're lifted and you're supported. I want you supported here somehow so that you're maybe on a block, maybe you've blocked your leg up, something so it's not just hanging out in space, right? Because that's painful. Now think about the other side. So my left leg is up, my right hip is trying to come up. So I'm going to try to use the muscles in my tummy and just push a little bit to the right to see how that's going to feel, giving me a deeper stretch into that leg, right into that hip flexor. And we're breathing here, nice big deep breath. Good, let's bring that leg up. Now we're going to switch hands that are holding. So I'm going to grab the strap with the opposite hand. So now my right arm is holding my left, maybe your left is holding your right. That free arm now comes out in that T position. And I'm going to let this leg fall over the top, nice, strong, and long, but I'm letting the bottom come up off the floor. Good, so it's coming up off the floor here. Oh, I can really feel that right here in my hip. Good. Now sometimes I have a problem with this shoulder. It doesn't like to relax. So I might have to roll that hand in so I don't hurt my shoulder. So if this extension through the arm feels uncomfortable, go ahead and roll it here. But keep your chest looking up at the sky. And breathe. Let's inhale that leg up. Whoa, it didn't want to come up. All right, and then let's take the strap away, but keep it handy, and we're going to hug that knee in. Let's do both knees here. Let's do something in the middle. Safest forward fold we can do is bringing both legs in at the same time. Good. All right, now let's do that other side. So we're gonna lasso the other foot. Excuse me, push those shoulders back in, imprint those shoulders. If it feels good, elongate that leg, pushing that leg towards the floor. And remember, if it hurts your back, then put that foot on the floor. Good, so we're gonna hold that leg here, pulling it up just a little bit more. Feeling that nice stretch, not being lazy with that foot that's on the floor. We're pushing the thigh towards the floor. Relax, push that heel up, imprint that shoulder. Breathe. Good. Now let's release it just a little bit. Bend that knee, pull it in towards the belly. Good. Extend it up one more time. Maybe you can pull it a little further, holding, breathing. Now let's let that leg come back to that neutral position. I'm going to take the same hand as the leg that's elongated, so right arm, right leg, left arm, left leg. The opposite arm goes out, and then we take that leg and we're going to bring that out to the side, bringing our elbow to the floor, to a block, to a blanket, something so that we are propped up, that leg's not just hanging there with nothing to help it. Good, so holding it here, breathing, nice big deep breaths, big hip opener here. Big hip opener. Good, now let's pull that leg back up, and we're going to switch hands that are holding the leg. We're going to bring that leg over, letting that leg fall to the side. And maybe the arm is extended, that hurts, so we're going to bring that hand in if we need to, but our chest is still looking up towards the sky. And breathing, nice big deep breaths. Good. Our time is going so fast today. Time for Shavasana. So let's inhale and lift that leg up. I'm going to take that strap off. Let's hug both legs in. And I'm going to do a wide leg hug here. So I'm going to pull those knees in, maybe even holding underneath, pushing that tailbone away, trying to do a little bit of a pelvic reset here because we did some things, one on each side. So now we need to just kind of reset in the middle. Bring those legs in. Let's elongate those legs. Stretch them out. Big stretch here. Watch that chair if it's close by. And then let's get ready for Shavasana, however that's going to look for you. So maybe you just want to bring your arms over and you're going to bring your hands to your sides. Maybe it feels better for you to bring your feet up with their knees knocked together so they're supported, so no muscles really in place. That's my favorite. If you're close to your chair, you can put your legs on your chair. Make sure your calves are supported so your knees are at a 90-degree angle. And we're breathing, nice big deep breaths. Relaxing, softening. Taking this last minute to just relax. Let's slowly bring your focus back into the room. Taking some normal breaths. Sliding one foot to the floor and then the other. Rolling over to your least encumbered side where you're not going to hit anything. And then pushing yourself up into that seated style of your choosing. Got a little extra appendage here. All right. Good. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's take that big deep breath. Inhale. Bringing those hands to prayer. I hope that you feel stretched today. We really worked a lot on hips and that helps that piriformis sciatic nerve area as well. So I hope that you feel great and that you're ready for whatever the day brings. Namaste.